Hello and welcome. This is Ahmed. In this video demo, I'm going to show you how to modify cluster member template. And I'm going to also show you why it is useful to modify the template. So let's get a WebSphere version 9 ND. On this machine, I have a cluster. So let me show you the scenario. The scenario is this. This is a cluster, my cluster, and it has only one member. So let me show it to you. There's only one member. So if I click on this member, I can see properties of this member. So imagine for an instance, you modify one of these properties. So I'm going to pick a property here. Expand zip container settings. Click on zip container. And here is a property I'm going to modify in this demo. The value of maximum application session is 120,000. And I'm going to change it to 150,000. Okay. So let's change this value. Click on apply and then click save. So if I go back to this member and click on zip container, you will see my change. But now let's assume I want to add another member to this cluster. So I have only one member at this moment. So let's add another member. So let's see what happens. Click on new. Let's give a name, my member 2. This is the second member. I will keep default settings and then click on add member. Now I have member 1, which was there before, and I have a new member, member 2. Click next and then click finish. Click on save. Now let's start member 2. So let's go to WebSphere applications server clusters. Click on my cluster and then click on Ripple start. To check the status, click on my cluster again. Click on cluster members and click on refresh to see status of these member. Member 1 is now up and running. So let's refresh again. And member 2 is up and running as well. Now I will go to member 2 and then let's look at the property zip container. And as you can see, the value of this property is 120,000. It's not 150,000 like the value we changed in the previous cluster member. So what can be done? So when I create a new member, it gets my changes, the changes that I made. To achieve that, you need to change cluster member template because that is the place where these values are coming. So we have to modify cluster member template. And this is exactly, I'm going to show you how to do that. Unfortunately, cluster member template cannot be modified through the web interface or the GUI. You need to modify it by writing a script. So let me show you the script. The first line is getting the list of templates. The second line here is getting the object of zip container and all the properties within the zip container. The third line is the key, admin config modify. This will modify object zip container and the value maximum app sessions to 150,000. And finally, you have to admin config.save. So this is simple. So now let's run this script. To run this script, the command is here. We run wasadmin. We select the language Jython because that's the scripting language I'm using. Your username, which is in my case is wasadmin, and the password. My script name. So this is my script name, my script.py. So -f script name. I also provided some Java options. In case there is a problem, I can look traces. And finally, if there is anything on the screen, I want to output it to a file. In this case, my output one.txt. Okay. So I have these two files under C, i.b.m, WebSphere, App Server Profile, Deployment Manager 01, bin folder. These are two files that I need, and I copy it directly in my bin folder under Deployment Manager 01. Okay, so let's open command prompt and run this script. My run.batch, hit enter. Once the script is done, you will get the prompt back. So let's look what's inside my output one.txt file. Here is my output one.txt. I'm going to open it. Looking at the size, I guess it has very little information. Yeah, as I suspected, there's not much in here. Let's go back to our WebSphere and let's create another cluster member. And now that we have made this change and the value is now 150,000, if I create a new cluster member, it should automatically get that new value. Okay, so let's click on WebSphere application clusters. Click on my cluster members, and let's add another cluster member. I'm going to click on new, and let's name it my member number 3, and click add member. I have my member 3 here as well. Here is my member 3. Click on next, and then click finish. Click save. Now let's start this cluster. Select cluster and click on REPL start. Click on my cluster members, and refresh your status. And member 3 is up and running. Now let's look at the value of the property in member 3. Now let's click on my member 3. Click on zip container. And now, because we changed the template, my member 3 got my new value. Now, whenever we create a new member, the value will be 150,000, right? But we have to make a small change. If you recall, my member 2 was created before I changed the template, and the value of that property is still 120,000. So let me make a quick change just to keep things consistent. 150,000, click apply, and click save. Thanks for watching. And like always, have a nice day.